Hey guys, okay, so in this video I'm gonna quickly show you how to pick the absolute best possible base location that you possibly can pick, because I see far too many people fall for the same stupid raid tactics that get them wiped every single season. And it's so easy to avoid, which is the I don't know, it's like, why would you pick a stupid base location when you can pick a smart one and not get wiped and not have to worry about getting wiped so much? I mean, if you're a good player, you can still defend, but why would you make your life more difficult? Okay? So, I just want to say before we start with the criteria, if I talk too slow for you, just speed up the video or skip along. I don't really care. Anyway, the three criteria that we're going to be using is first, let's see, how difficult the base is to fob, or how difficult it is to online raid, let's say. Okay, that's the first one. Second, how difficult the spot is to offline raid. And now, I know most of you gonna say like, well, obviously it's gonna be way easier to offline raid either way, and you'd be right, but some bases are just so stupidly easy to raid online, it doesn't really matter what you do, it's still gonna be the same thing. I mean, obviously you're gonna be able to defend a little bit, but it's not gonna matter that much if you're like an unorganized tribe defending against some guys that are really organized. And I assume most people that know how to play the game really well are not going to be watching this video anyway. Okay, on to the last criteria for this base spot. That's going to be size. So your breeding room, your I don't know, it's room for the base. Like, you don't want to live in a lava rat hole. Like, if you're not familiar with lava rat hole, that's basically the little rat hole you have to crouch in on center, and it's like so small you can't fit any dinos. I mean, you can fit some, and of course you can build in there and never get wiped because it's gonna have a super high difficulty, or it's gonna be super difficult to raid offline and online. But you have to ask yourself, is it worth the space trade-off? So space or like room. Here I'll put how difficult it is to fob because that's gonna matter later. Okay, so we're gonna rate these on a scale from 1 to 5, and I'm gonna use this little stars. Uh, I always scuffed, and I'm not gonna edit this video at all, so you guys are gonna have to just take in as much information from the ARK god as you can possibly take in, I guess. Anyway, okay, so first question is obviously gonna be, is there a spot that ticks all these boxes? That's like, not that if it ticks all boxes, obviously every spot ticks a box, but if there's a spot that crosses all the boxes, so like 5 stars for all. And the answer is, I mean, kinda, there is, but not really. The spot I'm talking about is obviously gonna be Big Lunar,
Alright
which is
guys, so
like
number one with
the biggest cave. I mean, not the biggest, but like one of the biggest caves in the game. Super difficult to raid because of the gravity, online and offline. But there's gonna be problems with the cave, which is gonna make it a little bit easier to offline because you can cheese the cave. Okay, you don't have to just. It's not like super turbo OP that you can't literally do anything to the cave. So it's gonna be 4 stars to offline raid. You know what I'm saying? Like Lunar Cave is gonna look something like this. Let's pick a nice color. Let's go with red, I guess. Online difficulty, obviously 5 star. I'm making it red, but it's not intended. Okay, let's not maybe do that. It's gonna be stars are gonna be blue. Okay. Oh fuck. It's gonna be super difficult to online raid and to offline raid. Oh my god, bro, I'm just a terrible YouTuber. I'm sorry. Um, and to offline raid, it's not gonna be as difficult as it is gonna be to online raid, or it's not gonna be impossible. I mean, because you can obviously Maywing dash it, and most people are not gonna know about this and just gonna go with Mega Challenge and soak it. And of course, like that's also a weakness, is that Mega Challenge can soak it, but nobody really has Mega Challenge. And there's other things you can do to the base, which is like, I don't know, Bessie bomb it, but that's just assuming it's built terribly. and yeah, you can bag it if it's like the start of wipe and shit. So that's why I'm gonna put online difficulty at 4. And the space, obviously 5 out of 5. But the other base spots in the game, if you look, these are the top 10. And I know I'm gonna get into like the raid methods. And also, maybe I'm not gonna get into the raid methods because I'm gonna make a separate video about these raid methods to raid each and every one of these spots and how to use them, and another one on how to defend against them. So if you want to see that, again, it's gonna be scuffed editing, but maybe it's gonna be better if this video gets some likes and views. So if you want a more well-edited video about like defending from these raid methods and using the methods like trying to decipher when you want to use, I don't know, owl dashing or like Maywing dashing, or like when you want to soak the base, or when you want to fucking tech rifle it or grapple glitch it, or like, I don't know, there's so many raid methods I can't get into them all at once, but I can tell you how to assess these ratings for your base spot. Okay, so let's get into that. The first thing you want to look at when you're deciding on a base spot, and I'm gonna write that down. First thing to consider is gonna be tribe size, skill, not of the individuals, but of the entire tribe combined. And don't lie to yourself here and say, "Oh well, my tribe's the best because we have a guy that has 10k hours, some shit like that." Because just be realistic here. If you're a bad tribe, you need a stronger spot. A good tribe can get away with having a shit spot, but they're not gonna want it. So like you have to sacrifice an aspect to get the spot that's gonna best fit your tribe. Okay, so to consider tribe size and skill. Why does tribe size matter? Because if you have more tribe members, you're obviously gonna need more room for like breeding and shit. If you're playing solo, you're still gonna wanna breed, but are you gonna be able to defend a spot that can breed a tame cap of gigas? Probably not. Probably you can find some, but probably not. Like you're not gonna be able to find these spots. And then server mods. Most of the servers nowadays have cave mods, and you need to go to every single cave and assess the situation there. If you don't do this, there's gonna be problems because some people are gonna find some stupidly broken caves that you're never gonna have even heard of, and you're gonna get molested by a tribe that you don't even know where they live, and when you find them thinking you're gonna wipe them, is gonna end up being like the Lighthouse Cave on Imians. I'm gonna open ARK and like show you what that is in a sec. Let's actually do that right now. Um, but yeah, you're gonna be playing against. I'm just gonna let this load. You're gonna be playing against a tribe that's in a spot there's no way you wipe it. And the funniest thing about these server mods is that most of the caves that are modded are usually not contested because people don't take the time to look at the caves. They just go for Big Lunar, and then it ends up being that Big Lunar is worse than a modded cave. Okay, so when you've considered your tribe size and your skill level, and you've listed through the server mods, the second thing you do, second thing, is you think about the raid methods. Think about the raid methods. So you don't just go blindly into fucking, I don't know, island ice cave with a raised crouch when PTs, when flyer caves are enabled, like when you can fly in caves. I'm just giving a stupid example, but that would be fucking stupid, and you know that. So you don't just pick a cave that you saw on YouTube, and I was like, Kishko built there, so I'm gonna build there as well. Well, yeah, on most servers it's probably gonna be good, but maybe on the server you're playing it's gonna be shit. And when we get there, you're gonna be like, huh, I just sacrificed my wipe to get to a spot, to like claim a spot that's terrible. So you have to go through the mods. And let's see if my ARK coded. For example, you're gonna spawn. Let's see. You're gonna look at the server mods and you're gonna realize a cave like this. Where the fuck I am? Okay, I actually have no idea where I am. Okay. I'm sorry. Just give me 1 second to show you this. And these are small differences between the caves. I mean, they're not small to a trained eye, but like to normal players, the differences between these caves are tiny. Okay? So the lighthouse cave on Imians, this is like the mod for Mesa Ark. You're gonna get here, you're gonna go in the water, and you're gonna realize there's an underwater crouch. Not really a crouch, but you can only fit a player in. I tried fitting a carbon, I tried fitting this Bessie. Let me just show you. Oh yeah, I unclaimed it. Anyway, I tried fitting it in here, doesn't fit. And then this ended up being a huge cave with an underwater crouch entrance. And I think this is the most broken cave in the entire game. Because we had 20 turrets for the first week. We never got attacked. Never ever got attacked with 20 turrets in this cave. Because it's literally impossible. So you have to take these, and it wasn't contested. So you need to go through the cave mods, look at the mods, and see if there's like a stupidly broken cave that nobody's seen. Because people didn't think this was gonna be OP, but when they realized that like I put 3 turrets here in the first 2 hours of wipe, and people tried to raid it in the first day for like 10 times maybe, and failed every single time because you can't raid it. It's like you could technically just toss carbos until I don't know what happens, but then it's just like a matter of time before somebody sees you doing that and meat runs you. So you need to be thinking about these things. Okay, but for the checklist of the raid methods, first thing, first thing in the list of the raid methods, I guess, is gonna be you might think, okay, I saw the mods. Highlands Cave is modded, right? Is it? It's not. Okay, interesting. um, anyway, you're gonna see like some cave being modded. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure I had to like load in 2 mods for this to work, but I'm not 100% sure. So let's see if there's a modded ice lake cave maybe, or like some cave. I don't know. I'm sorry this is taking so long. Just skip ahead in the video. If you're watching me do this, I'm gonna find some cave eventually. I'm gonna find some cave eventually. Okay, perfect. Triple waterfall. You're gonna go here and see, oh, this entrance is closed. This entrance is semi-closed. I mean, it's shrunk down. And then I can build my wall here. And I can build my base back here. It's a lot of space. It's easy to defend in your eyes. And you're gonna be like, this is a solid spot. They can't really fob it. I mean, they can above or below, but then you're gonna think I can just raft their fob if they're below me, or I can just, I guess, ignore it if they're above me. But what you fail to realize is that this cave is super easy to raid with an owl. You're gonna get somebody's gonna get a snow owl. They're gonna get 3 people up here. They're just gonna fly. Well, kind of missed. You're gonna fly into your wall, boom. Or past your wall, even worse, and pop a giga on your base. So the first thing to consider when you're talking about the raid methods is, can my cave, or can you fly in the cave? Can you fly in the spot? If they can fit a PT or an owl in your spot, or like, yeah, if they can fit a PT or an owl through the entrance, chances are the online raid difficulty drops from, where is my bucket? from 5 stars to like 2, if it's a good cave. You know what I'm saying? Because they can just not have to soak any of your ammo, and it doesn't matter if you have 10 bullets or 10,000 bullets per turret. It's not gonna matter at all, because it's just gonna blow them up or go past your wall. And this happens so much with these spots. I would never consider building one of these. If a spot can be flown into, you don't build there. Listen to me, you don't build in that spot ever, because it's so easy to wipe. And you need to drill this into your head and the head of your tribe mates. Nobody's building a spot where you can fly into. You can look on YouTube. There's so many videos of bad players raiding these spots with just, I don't know, like an owl or a PT. I think even I have a video about these these dumbass methods that just work. You know? Let's see. I'm gonna leak some of my broken strats here maybe, but that's for another video. Okay, this is the clip. This is me with a 20k HP. So it's nothing. It's not good snow owl. It's like a 40 health snow owl leveled up a bit. Not even max leveled. I take some soups. The owl has a saddle that's like, let's see, 62 armor, and you watch what happens to this cave. And this is one person. I'm not doing this with anyone else. And I fucked it up as well, I think, because I got stuck up here, and I still managed to fly past an overcapped wall with fence support, with what was that, fence supports, double door frames and shit, 4 tech generators, and 100 plus turrets into the back of the cave, and just meat run the entire base, wipe the entire thing. It's so fucking easy to do. So if I did it to this overcapped redwood cave that was buffed, this was on Imians as well, I think. So the entrance was shrunk. I couldn't do it. It wasn't like official. You see, this is the only entrance into the cave. And I managed to do solo with a single owl. Then what makes you think you can build your cave better than this and defend against more people? No, 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 no. You don't ever build in there where a PT or something can fly into. Okay? Okay. So now that you've established that, because that's the easiest thing to do, everybody can do that. Then you need to think about thing number 2. Second thing on the checklist. This is like a checklist. You guys can use this like as a checklist. Thing number 2. Grapple glitch. Pretty self-explanatory. Can the spot be grapple glitched? And you're gonna say every single spot can be grapple glitched. Most of them can be grapple glitched. Some of them can't get grapple glitched. Why? Because you either build the wall too far back for people to grapple glitch it. For example, uh, let's say, I don't know, I was gonna say oil cave, but that's off the checklist because of the first thing. So most caves you're gonna be able to grapple glitch. And that's most caves. When you have like a straight line from the entrance to the turrets. If there's like a curve or something like that, chances are it's not gonna be grapple glitchable. For example, Central Cave on Scorched Earth. You have to get into the tunnel. Let's see if Shokis has the thing in his list. Not because I need Shokis' approval, but because the cave is probably in there because it's pretty strong. And I'm just assuming it's in there somewhere. And I also really loved to build a spot back in the day. Lost Island, Crouch, Shadow Cave, Tree, Island Ice, Center Pearl, Snow North, Ocean Pillar, Gentle Q, Fjord 11. Okay, the spot is not in here. But for example, let's see. Let's see. Okay, it's not in here. Maybe it's in some other video, so I can show you the video of the spot. Apologize it's taking so long, but yeah. Island Ice, Big Owner, Valk Spider, South Pillar, Ocean Pillar Core. What the hell? South Pillar. What? Okay, never mind. Scorched Earth Cave. Okay. I think this is central. Yeah. Okay. So you see this tunnel? You need to get past that, and then the wall is usually gonna be there. And you can't fly in the cave, and you can't really grapple glitch it. You could hide behind some dead dino bodies, but online that would be close to impossible to grapple glitch this cave with people defending. Offline, maybe you could do it, but you would need to int a bunch of times first. So you might be asking like, okay, then well, where the fuck should I build if every single spot is terrible? If you can just grapple glitch it. Okay, well, yeah, that might be true, but there are certain 1x spots, for example, 1x spots, that you can grapple glitch into, but it's not gonna matter. And it's not gonna matter if you can PT spin them or owl dive them if you build them well, because your entire wall is not gonna get destroyed with one rocket because it's 1x. For example, Extinction Tree is a good example of this. Let's see. You can, and also for Extinction Tree, what I want to say is you can build so many defenses. And every cave you can build a lot of defenses on, or every spot I should say, is probably gonna be a strong spot. But the most important part is gonna be the choke point, okay? If the choke point can be well defended from every single side, and people can't get past it super easy, then it's gonna be a strong spot. And provided it's not like a cave that you can fly in, or like the basic shit. Extinction Tree. You could fly into it, people have done it, but it's two terrible builds. If you build spots that are difficult to build, like Extinction Tree, you need, and I repeat, you need to not build it if you're bad at building. If you want to build an Extinction Tree and you don't know how to build, and you think, well, I can just figure it out, you can't. Pick another spot. Pick something else if you don't know how to build. Just leave Extinction Tree for whoever wants to do the building. Because I've seen far too many people get wiped out of Extinction Skylight or Extinction Tree by people with snow owls because they get into like a little hole that they made with like, I don't know, that the builders left with the cliff plats, and like, the base of the cliff plats like a cone, and then they hide behind the cone and just blow into the spot. Yeah, that happens a lot. So if you don't know how to build and cover every angle, then don't like build those spots. Stick to like dumbass spots. Like for example, Ocean Pillar. Can't, you know, dive it with anything because it's no flyer map. So you can't outdive or PT spin it. And then you can't, I mean, you could technically grapple glitch into it, but what's gonna happen, you're just gonna get blown to pieces. Because the probably is gonna be vote dropped, which is another way to secure your base if you're building like on an ocean pillar, but I'm gonna talk about that in another video if you guys like this one. And yeah, that's the, I guess, the gist of it. Valk Spider Cave, Shock is put it here, I don't know why. People owl dive this and PT spin it all the fucking time. Yeah, online it's strong because the poison you can just snipe people, but you have to ask yourself how realistically, if the spot is strong online and weak offline, do I want to build it? If you have three NA tribe members and three EU tribe members that can all play all the time, then yeah, just go for the Spider Cave. Spider Cave is really strong. It's super easy to defend because you can wipe because like you go back to the difficulty. Online difficulty of Spider Cave is fucking huge. It's super difficult to online raid because you can just ram the fob with Dinies, ram the fob with your own PTs. You can counterplay it. You can push from two sides. You can do anything you want. But offline raid difficulty is like, I can't use the white color. Is like 2. Because yeah, the UTs and the Bloodstalkers and the fucking, I don't know what dinos you have defending your base. I'm gonna cover that in another video. What dinos you can use for defense offline. What dinos you have are gonna matter a little bit, and they're gonna shave off maybe an hour. They're gonna save you an hour of your base, and then the wall is gonna save you another hour. if the people are terrible. If they're super coordinated, it's gonna last like 20 minutes. So yeah, spots like that offline, you don't build it. And the space at the spider cave, yeah, like a 4. It's a pretty decent sized cave. Actually, it's super sized. If you take in the radiation part that most people don't build, but yeah, it's a good cave if you can be online all the time. And you need to take in, okay, so I just remembered another thing. So you want to take in tribe size plus, I can't type, ah, plus online timer. If you have a full EU tribe, you need to go for a spot that has a high offline raid difficulty. You can't get away with a spot that's easy to offline raid, you know? You just don't get away with it. You don't get away with building like I don't know. Don't get away with building a fucking and can't come up with any good but bad examples for like a spot that's easy to offline raid. Let's see if this guy has any. You don't get away with building an oil cave because this thing gets rammed in 4 hours offline. If you have that big of an offline timer, then yeah, it's a rip oil cave. Or like, yeah, Spider Cave's a good example, I guess. Island Ice Cave is a good example because it's gonna get grapple glitched. It's high up on the list because it's difficult to online raid. It's super difficult to online. It's just like one of the hardest. Like it's basically impossible to online raid. But offline raid, people are just gonna sit in the crouch, throw a stego to soak the wall a little bit, and just grapple to this corner over here. And when they're there, they're just gonna blow a hole, and the third guy grappling is gonna get past your wall. And yeah, you can have internals and like shit like that, but eventually it's not gonna matter. Eventually, someone's gonna get behind there with a stego, blow your internals, get your gens down, and like meet on your base. But for example, a big lunar, which is like hard to offline raid, or extinction tree, it's even harder to offline raid. Let's see where extinction tree is. Or like an extinction tree is not gonna get offline raid so easy if you're a good builder. You can build so many defenses on this. You can cover this side, you can cover that side, you can make floating towers, you can make a lot of internals, you can make a lot of walls, you can really build them well. You use the aggressive dinos like UTs, and yeah, it's just gonna be super difficult to offline raid. Or a cave that's gonna have a lot of choke points. For example, North Ice. You have a choke point in the water. You have a decent choke point above the water entrance when you're getting into the cave. After the water entrance, you have a moon pool, and then after the moon pool, you have the drop down. So yeah, the first line of defense is gonna get raided. The water defense is gonna get raided. The moon pool is gonna take them probably the longest, and then by the time they're at the drop down, you're gonna go to sleep and wake up 2 more times. So it's gonna be super difficult to offline raid. It's not gonna be. It's not that is good difficult. Is that it takes a lot of time. So maybe I should change this to like not. Let's see. Not offline raid difficulty, but like where's my racer thing? Uh, not a good YouTuber, guys. Not the offline raid difficulty, but the offline. Wait, what's happening to my mouse? Offline raid time. How much time it takes to offline raid? That's the main thing. If it takes 3 seconds to offline raid, yeah, not a good spot to go offline in. Next order of business. Okay, so well, you said I can't build in spots that can be grapple glitched, and you still haven't given me examples. Okay, time for example. Let's see. Example. 1x spots. Every spot that's 1x is not gonna get grapple glitched. Period. You don't have to worry about that. If you find what the hell? If you find a spot that's 1x, not getting grapple glitched. Okay, just keep that in mind. Or I will die after PT spawn for that matter. If you find a 1x cave that's not grapple glitchable, please go for it. Lunar gravity. Or I mean, I'm not gonna put that in, but just keep that in mind because it's not a lot of spots that have that. But anything with lunar gravity, like any lunar cave, is not getting grapple glitched because it's just getting pushed back. Uh, 1x spots, let's see. Uh, angled. Angled caves. For example, Central Cave. For example, fucking Pearl Cave. Or not Pearl Cave, but like, can't come up with anything off the top of my head, guys. You're gonna have to think a little bit for yourselves. Anything that has like a more than a 45-degree angle to it, it's probably not gonna get grapple glitched. If there is not a straight line from where you don't get shots to the turrets, it's probably not getting grapple glitched. But that's probably, and you don't go off of probably because you're gonna have bad luck. Think about that. Probably of all the people, you are gonna be the one that has bad luck. So don't let that happen to you. Okay. After angled caves, you have, let's see, I'm really trying to think here. Oh yeah, okay, underwater. And this is like actual underwater spots and not, I repeat, and not moon pools. Moon pools get grapple glitched. Okay? Not moon pools. Real underwater caves. Okay? Like easy underwater, like um fucking mushroom cave, like that cave that I showed you on Mesa Ark, the lighthouse cave is a great example of that. So yeah, keep those in mind. Okay, so you can still build a lot of spots with this. 1x spot, angled caves, underwater spots. You don't build like super straight line caves. For example, if you're gonna build center pearl cave and you're only gonna build the front room, don't build it. Because the front room you can still grapple glitch. It's gonna be difficult and it's gonna take time, but it's grapple glitchable, definitely. Okay, next thing you need to think about is the broken raid methods. If there is a server setting that says one dino is broken, you need to take that into account. Let's say OP ser let's not use yellow. Let's use green. OP server setting. For example, if there's a setting that says Mega Chelon 3x HP, if there's a setting that says Mega Chelons get 3 times normal health, you don't build a tower. You don't build spots that need towers. You don't build an oil cave. You don't build easy underwater where you can fit the fucking Mega Chelon. You don't build any single spot that can fit on Mega Chelon. Okay? We understood that. For example, another one. If there's a server setting that says racer resistance increased, or not or, but like and racer is immune to lunar knockback from tech turrets, then you don't build an lunar cave because you just gonna get ran over by racers. Not online, because I assume you can kinda defend, but against a really good tribe you're gonna get ran over by racers. So you don't build that. Okay, understood? Let's think about something else. For example, uh, let's say you have. Okay, so this is basically the checklist for what you need to think about when you're building these caves. You don't build a spot that perfectly fits a stego if stegos are super OP on the server you're playing on. You don't build I don't know, a cliff platform base if cannon damage is 100% because you can get cannoned And I still don't recommend building cliff platform bases. But shit like that you need to think about. You can't just place an entire 100 turret tower on a cliff plat and have it cannoned. That's not how it works. So, how are you gonna assess? Okay, you're gonna look a little bit, and you're gonna find one of the caves. Let's say you're playing on. Okay, so let's give some scenarios, I guess. Let's say you're playing 6-man. You have a tribe of 6 people, 3 NA, 3 EU. You cover the entire offline time. You don't have an offline timer. You need a lot of space. It's gonna say you need a, so it's gonna obviously require you to have a lot of space. And then you think about your strengths and your weaknesses. So you're gonna say, I'm a 6-man, but 3 of my members are EU or NA. So that means I'm actually a 4-man because 3 Americans have the brain cells of 1 European player. And that doesn't count for Germans. Germans share 2 brain cells among each other. So if you're playing with Germans, don't. Anyway, you're gonna need a spot. Let me grab my little bucket. With a lot of room. I'm painting this green, ignore the blue. You're not gonna care about the offline timer. Like, you're not gonna have an offline timer, so you don't care if this is like super easy to offline raid, if it's 1 star, if it's like a stone hatchet to offline raid, because you're not gonna have an offline timer, hopefully, if the Americans don't sell you out. Anyway, and the online raid difficulty, since you're a 4-man, not a 6-man, because you have Americans, you want it to be as high as possible. You want to get to 4, maybe 5, if you can. If you can, means you go for a spot that you're confident you're gonna get. If you're going for the most broken spot on the server, chances are a lot of good tribes are also gonna be going for that spot, which means they're gonna contest you. And if your tribe is bad, it means you're not gonna be able to contest them. So you need to pick a less contested spot, which is maybe gonna be more difficult, less difficult to online raid, but you're gonna take that chance because in the end you're gonna have a spot and you're not gonna be homeless living on an asteroid for the first 3 months of wipe or 3 weeks or like a week of wipe. I don't know. So you need to take that into account. So based on these, let's say you made this checklist and you go in your mind across the caves, and there's a cave that pops into your mind. Let's say Hunter Cave pops into your mind. It's big, has space, it's easy to offline raid. It's kind of difficult to online raid, but how really difficult is it to online raid? If it's modded on a server, if there's an OP server setting that says Hunter Cave is difficult to online raid because we've made this and that and the changes are good and doesn't matter, then you can go for the Hunter Cave. It's probably not going to be that contested. It's really strong online, has a lot of space. You have no offline, so you don't have to worry about that, and that's a good spot for you. If you think, what about the lava rat hole, guys? You're not gonna have enough space. It's gonna be super strong online, but that's not gonna matter because you're not gonna have an offline timer and you're not gonna have any space. And the online raid difficulty is also gonna be through the roof. Like this is gonna be the online raid difficulty. Um, yeah. So don't make those stupid mistakes. Also, make 100% sure you don't fall for any of these. You don't fall for these. Let's say this is you. This is you, little Bob, okay? You're a little Bob. Here you oh, have some eyes. Okay, that's you. And you have a big mouth because you talk a lot. And you say, but Kofoot, what about if I'm solo? What do I do then? Okay, let's see. If you're a solo player, let me just grab my bucket. Not red. I'm not like that, guys, I promise. if you're a, let's see, solo player. For a solo player, I'm gonna use red here, but you know I'm not fascist or anything like that. So just watch as if I wasn't fascist. You're gonna have a spot that you're gonna want to be, and that you're gonna want the spot to be super difficult to offline raid. Right? You want the highest difficulty possible offline raiding ever. The space is gonna depend. If you're an ambitious solo player, you're gonna want some space. If you're like me, you're gonna have you're gonna want a 1-star spot for space. Not because I'm unambitious, but because if I'm playing solo, I would rather survive and build another little base to breed my tames in, or like breed them, throw them out on timer and breed them, than to get wiped, to sacrifice my offline raid time. Because every spot is raidable offline, and you're gonna want as high of an online difficulty to raid as you possibly can find. So where can you find a spot like this, you might ask? I'm gonna give you a few suggestions actually, because I realize this video is not really helpful if I don't give you a bunch of suggestions. So the first suggestion is gonna be you're gonna build Asteroid Gen 1. These spots are terribly broken, and I tell this to all the people. If you're solo, if you get wiped on start of the wipe, if you get set back, just go to an asteroid, place some turrets. Nobody's ever coming to get you there. Trust me. That is like a 0% chance. You pick like a smaller asteroid. You don't pick the biggest one, of course, because people are gonna be scouting those. You pick a small one. You build like a. You don't build a cliff platform base. You learn how to like layer the foundations and make your base normal, so that someone doesn't cheese your base. You place some tech turrets and it's over. Nobody's ever raiding an asteroid on unofficial. Especially if Skiff is not auto unlocked. If Skiff is auto unlocked, then yeah, they might be, but nobody usually scouts those, especially not solo players. Especially not for solo players, I should say. Okay, let's say you're a retard and you don't want to go to asteroid. You can build a rat hole. Okay, retard, you want to build a rat hole? Nice. You have a few options. I don't really know many rat holes, but like I know most of them just get tech rifled and rocketed and snailed. And if you don't know what getting snailed means, I'm gonna explain it in a later video if you guys want. So yeah, you don't build a rat hole unless it's like lava rat hole, which is completely and totally broken, or you find a rat hole that nobody knows about, or like you find a rat hole on, that's like crouch, like a long crouch rat hole, like a lava rat hole, but it's basically a lava rat hole. But if you can find another one of those, yeah, sure, go for it. If you find a Pelagornis rat hole, something like that, just make sure in server settings or like in the server rules it's allowed, because I would personally rather get raided by a player, or maybe I wouldn't, I don't know. But it would be in your best interest to maybe be hidden and not get raided than to be found, reported to the admins, and admin gunned, you know? And somebody still gets the loot because admins do that, you know? I showed a guy like Sly a rat hole that wasn't supposed to be built. He came over with a with the admin gun, broke their gen and just looted the base. So don't build in like forbidden spots. Go on YouTube, search some rat hole tutorial or some shit like ARK best rat holes. Find one here. Don't go for these that have 40k views. You want to sort by this week, let's say. You find these hidden from these guys that have no views. You find some rat hole and you make sure in other videos it's not that common to be found. And you make sure it fits these fucking criteria. Because if it can be grapple glitched, if it can fly in there, and if there's like an OP server setting that says rocket launchers deal 3000% damage, then you don't want to build in a rat hole because it's just gonna get rocketed, 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 and rocketed. But if you can find this one, yeah, go for the red hole. I actually support that. Next thing you can build as a solo player is... Oh yeah, I should also add an underwater red hole. I know this is a bunch of work, but these are honestly the strongest. Especially if they're like crouch and underwater, nobody's bothering to raid that. You can find those on the internet as well. You're gonna build, like the plan would be to build an asteroid, right? On the starter wipe, and then move into an underwater rat hole when you get boss done, or some shit, you know? Just be smart about it. You can play as a solo, you just need to be smart about it. You can have a bunch of room in those underwater rat holes. You just need to plan your wipeout better than most people. And you can have, honestly, a pretty good track record of raids. I've played solo and I've raided like 5 smaller tribes in a wipe as a solo, which isn't like some big bragging thing, but it's like a decent a decent achievement for a solo player. You can do that. I didn't use any super OP unknown raid tactics that I'm not gonna teach you in the next videos. So yeah, make sure you like look at these things and think about them. Okay, if you don't want to build an asteroid, if you don't want to build a rat hole, you're just completely a moron. But there is another way you can build, and this is super risky. But on unofficial, I don't know how easy you will get found. And you're relying here on the fact that people don't have ESP. And when you rely on people not being cheaters, it usually doesn't end really well. Why? Because you have to assume that luck is never on your side, that you're always gonna get found. But I'm still gonna give you this tip. You build spots that nobody ever goes to. Terrible use. Terrible useless spots. And by this, I mean we go on rag and we go fucking insane. We go, for example, we fly across the entire desert and nobody ever goes like in this desert other than to for nothing else than loot the desert drops. But unofficial, they might actually be looting the desert drops. And you go in these ruins and you don't build in the huge castle. I've seen people build here actually. It went really wrong for them, but like as a Sparta spot, it's like okay-ish. Like people build in here sometimes. But what you can do if you want to be relying on luck, you can go in these fucking ruins and just like pick a little room here somewhere. Because I'm pretty sure there's like hidden compartments like in these spots. But on unofficial, I really wouldn't recommend. Like you can go somewhere in here, set up your base, place some turrets, and like hope that nobody's gonna find it. Like 2 times out of 3, you're not gonna be found. But that one time is gonna really piss you off. You can also, for example, on rag, go on these little islands. Or like build a sky quetzal. Or a floating sky base with some illegal, methods. But if nobody finds it, then nobody finds it. If somebody finds it, you're gonna get banned, or you're gonna get raided, or both. But it doesn't really matter because you will have been raided anyway. But another really good spot that just came to my mind, and that I really want to show you guys because, you know, no, I've never seen anybody ever talk about this spot, and I think this is like the most unvisited spot in the entire game, if I'm gonna be honest. Nobody ever goes here. Nobody knows what it is. Nobody uses the dino that spawns in this spot. So there's fucking radiation. It's a the spot is terrible. I mean, it's kind of buildable, but you can fit a racer in. You can do whatever you fuck you want to the spot. But it's kind of big, and you can kind of hide, and it's kind of good if you don't get found. And it's also extremely difficult to build. Not that it's extremely difficult to build, but you need like a bunch of gear to build it. Okay, so you want to go realm teleportation, Asgard, I don't know where. Slow mo 10. You wanna TP into Asgard? Eventually. You wanna fly up? You wanna look for like the magic forest biome with the enchanting table, trees. If you know what I mean. You just wanna look for the dumbest looking place in the entire biome, basically. Is it this? Could be this. No. I'm gonna find it eventually, and when I find it, you guys are gonna be like, wow, never seen that before. That exists? What the hell? Because only PvE people know about this spot. And yeah, you find the enchanting table biome, you go to the water, and you go down somewhere here. Maybe it's the other enchanting table forest. See, even I, who knows about the spot, can't really find it. And you would possibly be alright building in one of these little shacks in the ceiling like this. Because nobody would ever go here. But that's beside the point. I really want to show you the spot. Unfortunately, cannot find the spot. Also another rat hole, but I think there's another enchanting table forest. I'm sorry it's taking so long, but yeah, I found it, okay. So it's on the map here. You go here, and there's a car revving outside my house. You go down this pathway. You might be thinking, what the hell is this spot? Is this actually a good cave? No, it's absolutely terrible. You can fucking fob downwards, which is terrible for you defending. But yeah, you end up in this huge cave with the rock drake eggs. Okay, this is full of rock drakes. And I apologize again for the car revving in front of my front door. But yeah, you just go into like one of these. You find the entrance, right? You see where the entrance is? You locate all the drake nest eggs things, and you build somewhere where nobody would have any reason to ever go to. Which is not that easy to find, but you can probably, if you do it right, get like up here, and with a little bit of craftiness, make some zombies, and build yourself a nice little tiny base here. You can place some turrets, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You probably don't want to turn the gen on the highest range possible, so the particles don't reveal you. But yeah, you can have a decent little base in here that nobody will ever find because nobody uses rock drakes. Nobody knows about the spot. Um, and yeah. Oh, another thing I should probably mention is that why nobody will be coming into the spot is because if I take off my GCM, I'm dying to radiation. So you're not gonna need a hazmat as well. Because nobody has hazmat and nobody's gonna be going for rock drake eggs in this stupid location. If they're gonna be going for rock drake eggs, they're gonna be doing it on aberration with the little leech thing. So yeah, that's that. That spot goated if you want to build as a solo. Yeah. Watch the raid methods. Watch the grapple glitches. Watch the snow owls. Watch the fucking entrances that fit big ass dinos like stegos and racers and shit like that, you know, where you don't have Dunkra, where you can just walk them in. And yeah, that's basically, I think, going to be it from this video, which I hope you guys enjoyed, and I look forward to making another one similar to this one, maybe explaining the raid methods, maybe explaining how to defend your base better, maybe I can look into other hidden base spots because this hiding in plain sight shit is kind of OP. You can also use like an ocean platform in some far off part of Crystal Isles. I've done that before also, by the way. You just build an ocean platform base somewhere on Crystal Isles, and nobody ever comes for you because nobody ever goes there. So you need to be, maybe you want to be hiding in play sight, but that's just playing with luck. If you want to learn more about those base spots, learn more about defense strategies, learn more about some raid strategies, maybe you want me to show how this raiding is done, and also in 3 weeks I'm gonna be starting a new ARK series, so make sure, I guess, you subscribe to the channel if you want to see that. Anyway, leave a like on the video and write in the comments what you want me to do a video on next. The most upvoted comment is gonna be the next video, so whatever you guys want. That's gonna be it for today, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. I don't know these outros, bro. I feel so cringe when I'm doing them.